All right, let's look at the homework 2.1, problem number 2. All right, so part A, we want to find the slope m of the tangent line to the curve y equals 3 over square root of x at A. A is positive. Then let's do that first. All right, so we want to find the slope. I guess I'm going to just move this guy out of the way so that I have some room to work on. So I'm going to just put it down here. All right, so let's do that. Let's see. So in order to find the slope, we just have to find the derivative, right? So m is equal to f prime. Oh, actually, there's no f, right? It's called y, actually. So we can y prime of a, right? So this is equal to limit as h approaches 0. Then you would have f of a plus h. So every time you have you see x, we put the a plus h. So this is going to be 3 over square root of a plus h minus 3 over square root of a, right? Then all over h, right? And the first thing we do is we want to put these quotients together. So we're going to take the common denominator. And also, actually, there's a 3 here. This is just a constant, right? So I'm going to pull this guy in front out of the limit. So it's going to sit right here, right? So I'm going to write it as a 3 in front. Then you have a limit as h approaches 0, right? Then you have a fraction here, so h is on the bottom. All right, so common denominator would be square root of a plus h times square root of a. All right, then the numerator is going to be, so 3 is factored out, so pretend that this is 1, so maybe I'll do that. So 1 here, and the 3 here. All right, so multiply 1 by square root of a, so you're going to get the square root of a, and the sign is a minus, and 1 times square root of a plus h. All right, then what we're going to do is we're going to do the usual trick. So whenever you have a square root of something minus square root, we're going to use this trick. We're going to multiply top and bottom by square root of a plus square root of a plus h, right? Then you have the same thing on the bottom so that we don't change the quantity there, right? So we have that, right? So this is going to be, I'm going to simplify, right? So you have a 3 in front, and we still have to take care of the limit, but we'll do that later. All right, then you have a big fraction. Right, so I'm going to do the bottom. So you have this guy times that. So this is not much we can do. So we put the square root of a plus h times square root of a, and then times quantity square root of a plus square root of a plus h, right? Then you have a divided by h. So dividing by h is equivalent to multiply the denominator by h. So I'm going to just put the h on the denominator. Same thing, right? All right, then we just have to multiply these together. So a minus b times a plus b deal. So a squared, so this guy squared. So it's going to be a minus, right, this guy squared, which is going to be just a plus h. So square roots are gone. All right, then we can do some cancellation. So you can see that a minus a cancel out. Then h over h is going to cancel out. It gives you 1, right? Then, so what we have is, so this, I'm going to go here since there's no room, right? So here on top, let's see, there's 3. On top, there's a negative, right? So don't forget that there's a negative sign here. So it's a negative 1 times 3. So that will be negative 3 on top. All right. And then on the bottom, you have the square root of a. H is going to 0. So this guy this guy goes to 0. So you have a square root of a times square root of a. So that will be a. And then you have a square root of a times square root of plus square root of a. So you have a 2 square root of a. So 2 times square root of a, right? If you want, you can probably write it as a negative 3 over 2. Right, so this is just on the bottom, a to the first power, a to the 1/2. So it's a to the 2/3 power on the denominator. So that would be a to the negative 2/3 power. All right, so that's the slope. So let's type it in. All right, I'm going to type it in. So that would be negative 3/2. Oops, I'm not typing in. Let's see. Negative. Where's the negative sign? And I can't find it here. Negative. All right. 3 over 2. A to the negative 3/2 power. Right. So let's go ahead and check that first. Right. Submit for testing. All right, it came back. So looks like we got the slope correctly. So let's move on to part B. All right, so we want to find the equation of the tangent line at 1, 3 and 4, 3/2. Right, so let's do that. All right, so we are working on part B. So I'm gonna bring this guy up here a bit. Right. So we have points already given, so we just need to find the corresponding slope, right? So for this guy, slope m, so I'm going to call it the first guy, so m1 is going to be, all right, so we have the formula is already given, so we can just use that. So a in this case is a, so this is a, so maybe I should write that. So this is the a value. Right, so we just have to plug in. So it's a negative 3/2 and a 1 to the negative 3/2, but the 1 to the any power is going to be 1, so it's going to be negative 3/2. Right, so the equation is going to be y minus y1, which is 3, is equal to negative 3/2 times quantity x minus 1. Right, so we get that, but it looks like we have to write it as a y equals. So I'm going to just move this guy over this side. So this is going to be, let's see, so negative 3/2 x minus 1 and plus 3, right? You can multiply out if you want, but I'll leave it like that. I'm too lazy. All right, so how about the slope for the other guy? So m2 is going to be, so a value is now 4. So this is our a value. So we can just plug in 4 there, all right? So you have, let's see, I think I made a mistake here. This is not 2/3. I said the 3/2, okay? And I put 3/2, that's fine. All right, so you have a negative 3/2 and a 4 to the negative 3/2. All right. All right, so first thing is a 1/2 power is a square root, so that will be 2. Then raise it to the third power, that's 8. Negative power is reciprocal, is 1 over 8. So this is going to be negative 3 over 8 times 2 would be 16. Right? So the equation is going to be y minus 3 over 2 is equal to negative 3 over 16 quantity x minus 4. Then you can write the equation as just adding 3/2 to both sides. So you have negative 3 over 16 x minus 4. Then you have plus 3/2. Right? So let's type those guys in. All right, so first equation was negative 3 over 2 quantity x minus 1 plus 3. All right, then second equation was negative 3 over 16 quantity x minus 4 plus 3 halves. All right, so let's check the answer. All right, it came back and looks like we got the part B correctly as well. Then part C, so let's look at that. All right, graph the curve and both tangent on a common screen. All right, so original graph is y equals square root of 3 over square root of x. So looks like it's going to be a decreasing because as x value increases and it's decreased, so it's a decreasing curve, which probably looks like this. And the horizontal asymptote is going to be the x-axis. And let's look for that kind of graph. All right, so first one, so this red one is below the x-axis. This shouldn't be it. All right, so this is promising. All right, second one is promising. All right, not this one, not that one. Actually, there's only a promising one. All right, so let's just make sure that the tangent line. All right, so you have a tangent line at 1. So it looks like right here, and it looks like a tangent line. Let's see. Yeah, that looks okay. And at 4, you have a tangent line. So it's got to be this guy because all the other ones have a wrong, original graph. All right, so let's check. Alright, I came back and looks like we got the graphs correctly as well. Alright, that's it. I hope that this was clear.